So due to this underlying philosophy and design of R is incredibly excel in the statistical computation and graphic visualization. This R programming is a free and open source with high activity community members available across all the platforms like Linux, Mac, Windows of operating system, all this. So latest version was 4.1. It was very recently installed. I mean, it was recently updated, that is in February 2021. So how can we assign some variables? So we are already having the programming languages like C, C++, Java. What is more special about this R programming? So just a second, sir. Today we are going to discuss all about the history, introduction, basic concepts of R, features, comparison with other programming languages, what are the merits and demerits, and some practical sessions we are going to take today. So what is this R programming? It is a popular programming language used for statistical computing and graphical presentation. So it is mostly used for some mathematical calculations purpose. It is used to analyze and visualize the data. So why we are going on to this language? Although we are having many languages till now, C, C++, Java, right, Python, all these languages are already present. So why, what is making so special about this R programming? So it is one of the important language or coding language which is used for statistical analysis purpose, for data analyzing purpose, for visualizing the data, to work with some mathematical calculations and data science projects and machine learning, artificial intelligence. For all these types and for all these improvements, R programming has a very great importance. So in this, it is very making so user friendly language to work with the different development projects. So it is provided for many statistical techniques. So not only statistical techniques like to test any statistical data, for classification, for suppose in machine learning we will be applying different algorithms, we will be working with different algorithms. So to working with them also, this R programming, R Studio is very user friendly software where we can develop different applications, many developments we can develop in this R programming. It is very easy to draw the graphs in this R programming, like pie charts, histograms, box plotting, scatter plotting. All these are very easy to be done in this R programming language. It can be working with different platforms. Yes, so you might have remembered different platforms, in the sense Python also comes, right? So Python also can be working in simultaneously in different platforms. That's why we are calling such type of languages are as cross platform language, right? So this R programming is also called as R programming, also called as cross platform language. We can use in different platforms like Windows, Mac of operating system, Linux, in all these platforms. It is an open source and free software which has very large community support, like it can develop different packages, different models can be imported. It can work with number of packages, libraries, functions, so which are used to solve different problems. So this is the basic introduction about this R. Yes, coming to the history of R programming language. R is a programming language. It was an implementation over S language. So many languages has come over these S languages. Among all them, R programming is one of the best language, one of the best programming language to develop different applications in artificial intelligence, data science, in all these areas. R was first designed by Ross Ihaka and Robert Gentleman at the University of Auckland in 1993. So, due to its underlying philosophy and design of R, it is incredibly excel in statistical computation. It's been developing very rapidly in this area, statistical computations and visualization of graphical data. R is free software, free open source software, which is having a very high activity community members available across all the platforms like Linux, Mac of operating system, and Windows. So coming to the introduction to R. R is much more than the just its core language. So it is a worldwide repository system. The comprehensive R archive network CRAN. So here you can see the link where we can just download the R programming, R Studio, where we will be developing different applications. There were more than 3,000 packages hosted on this CRAN and numerous more on other sites. So I'll be sharing you the screen. So how to install that? Everyone can see the screen, right? First, go to Google Chrome and just type RStudio download for Windows. So you can see here, download the RStudio. Now select the free version which is available for Windows. So next, download it. So here we can see different versions over here which we can download. So the downloading the file will be in this format. After downloading the file, just click on that file. So a window will be appeared and that will redirect us showing certain options like next, cancel, finish, like that. So just click on next, next, next 3 times and then click on finish. So that R Studio will be installed in your system. So now so this is the R Studio. So this is the script window. Here it is the console window where we can observe the errors as well as outputs execution. And here you can see the different packages which we can install over here. And whatever the data we are giving, assigning the variables. So here we can see that.
Ma'am, your screen is not visible, ma'am.
Screen is not visible. Just a second.
It is showing only RStudio download.
So can you all see now?
Yes, now it's okay, ma'am.
Not showing, ma'am.
So can you all see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is the RStudio. Here you can see the script window where you can be writing the data. So before entering into the practical session, first you people install this RStudio. I have already told you the installation process. Simultaneously, please install RStudio into your system. Select any version and please install that.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
Ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am.
So actually, sorry for the interruption. So simultaneously, can you see the screen, ma'am? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So please install the free version which you can see over here. Simultaneously, you please install this. Download the file and just click on that file. It will be opening in a window format. Next, click on next, 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 and then click on finish. So yes, so who uses this R programming in their businesses? Like most of the most developing companies like Microsoft, New York Games, sorry, New York Times, Bing, New Scientist, Ford, Facebook, Foursquare, Uber, Google. All these companies are using this RStudio R programming language for their development purpose. So why this R? What is making so special about this language? The most extensive modeling resources in scientific research is available in this R programming. The fine publishing quality graphs. To get the graphical data in a quality format, we will be using this R programming. It is very easy to develop on our own modelings. So R is freely available under GNU, that is General Public License. Yes, coming to the features. So I have already told you that R is a programming language developed for statistical analysis and graphical representation of data. So it is of open source. So the source code of R program and the extensions could be examined line by line. So it uses interpreter. It can compile the data line by line in a sequential order. Integrating with many programming languages, R is an interpreted language. So it is rather than slow because it should interpret the data. It should execute the data line by line. So that's why it is rather slow, but could integrate with high efficient languages like C, C++, and Fortran. So R is an open source independence operating system of independence. So that is Unix, Linux, Windows operating systems, Mac of operating system. So it is available for these operating systems. And command line driven. So we have to write the commands over here. So coming to the comparison with the different languages like R programming, Python, Java. What are the basic differences? So R programming was released in 2014, whereas Python was first put forward in 1996. Actually, its development was being started in 1989, whereas Java was released in 1995. So comparison to the more functions of packages, what are that comparison means? R programming has more functions and packages, whereas Python has very less functions and packages. Coming to Java, it is having very large number of inbuilt functions and packages. R programming uses an interpreter based language. It uses an interpreter where the data can be executed line by line in a sequential manner. So that's why it is very slow to execute the data. Whereas Python as it uses an interpreter, it is also called as an interpreter based language. Interpreted language. Java is a compile based language. What is the difference between interpreter and compiler? So interpreter, here we will be executing the data line by line in a sequential order, whereas in compiler the whole data will be executed or compiled at once, total data. So for suppose if you are having 10 lines of data, 100 lines of data, 1000 lines of data, whatever the amount of data is, the whole data will compile the data at once and it will show all the errors at once. So it will be complex, right? So that is why we are moving on to this interpreted languages like Python and R programming. And it is R program is statistical design. It is used for statistical designing and graphical visualization purpose. So this is nothing but graphics programming language, whereas Python is a general purpose language. Whereas Java is a general purpose programming language designed for web applications. So it is very difficult to learn and understand this R programming, but it is user friendly. Why? Because if you once start working with this R programming, it helps in many development areas, many developments can be done, different applications can be developed in this R programming. So Python is very easy to understand. It is a user-friendly language. So it is a very basic knowledge in coding language is enough to work with this Python language. Coming to Java, it is easy to learn and understand, whereas complex to execute the data. Whereas R programming is mostly used for data analysis purpose, to analyze the data. Why we have to analyze the data in a graphical format? Why we have to analyze our input data? Because our main intention is to work with artificial intelligence, data science, right? So a system cannot directly get any output. First, it should understand what our data is. That's why we need to analyze what our input data actually consisting of. That is why we will be concentrating on this data analysis part. So that's why whenever whatever the data, input data we are having, if we can visualize the data of every feature's data in a graphical format, so then it makes the system understand our data in a simple manner and it can develop in different trending technologies, right? So whereas Python is generic programming tasks such as design of softwares. And coming to Java, Java is mostly used for design of windows of operating system. So these are all the basic comparisons with the different languages like R programming, Python, Java. So this is what the basic comparisons we can see. What is making us so special about this R programming? I hope you are understanding the session. If you are having any doubts, please put a message in chat box so that I could answer. So please don't make it as a classroom session. Please make it as somewhat interactive session so that we can make the session very interesting. So before going on to this merits, so have you all installed RStudio? Have you all installed?
Yes, madam, I had installed,
Yes,
but then it was asking for R language to be installed. So that also I have done.
You have installed both?
Yeah, both.
Okay, fine. Yes, moving on to this merits. What are the advantages of using this R language? So R is most comprehensive statistical analysis package available. It incorporates all of the standard statistical tests and models and analysis, as well as providing a comprehensive language for managing and manipulating the data. To work with the data, whatever the data it is, to work with the input data, we will be using this R programming language. So although we are having language like Python, we are moving on to this R programming to make it as to work with the data in a graphical view, to represent the data in graphical view. So R is a programming language and environment developed for statistical analysis by practicing the statisticians and researchers. Many researches have been done under this programming language, and it was being developed since many years. So it's been developing since many years, but later in the previous history years, so there was not that much developed, right? Our society, our marketing, our programming skills, our data, based on how we will be taking the data, how much fast internet facility, everything was slow up to the mark previously, but now everything changed. Everything is as fast as possible. Within seconds we are able to get any type of data in our internet, right? Data accessing is very fast. So that's why this R language had come into its importance now in nowadays, right? So that is making to work with this R language to work to develop different applications. So this R is a programming language and environment developed for statistical analysis by practicing statisticians and researchers. The graphical capabilities of R are outstanding. So it can visualize the data clearly, providing a fully programmable graphics language that surpasses most other statistical and graphical packages. So it can provide graphical data in a clear manner. Coming to the demerits, yes, of course, everything has some merits and demerits, but we have to overcome those demerits and work to decrease the demerits and improvise the merits over that any technology which we are working for, right? So yes, of course, our programming is also having some demerits which are taken into the consideration, which have to be developed by decreasing these demerits. So it is slow because R is an interpreted language. As it is using an interpreter to execute our code, it will be executing line by line. So it will take very great time to execute the data, and it is not very fast. It could be how much fast it will be 1 by 40 of C language. How much fast C it will be? It will be 1 by 40 times less than the speed. So coming to the limitations of memory limitations. As we are working with all the objects are in the memory, so it should have to check the memory locations where our data have to be stored. So this is one of the important aspect we have to concentrate. Memory is filled. So as it is full, as it is already memory is filled, we have to check which memory location is empty and store our data over there. So it is also one of the important aspect. R is hard to learn. Yes. So it is hard to learn for the basic beginners, but if we start working with this R language, you believe it or not, we will be very, very fine to work with this R Studio, R programming language. It is little bit exciting even. So one has to memorize the commands or functions and understand the logics of the programming. The fluency of R requires great time and energy. It requires more time to work with this R programming. If we once understand what is the logic, what is the thing we are going on this in this programming language, it will be excellent to work with this programming language. So R basics, you already know. I have already given you the basic information in a simple manner. The R basics to be understood like R statements or commands can be separated as a semicolon or a new line character. Assignment operators are given in 3 ways. So here you can see we can use this symbol, and also equals to also we can use for assigning any operator or assigning any value to a variable, right? So all the characters after the symbol Ash. So it is treated to be as a comment in RStudio, in R programming. So there is not multi-line or block level comments. So firstly, I request everyone, please mute yourself. Yes, so there is not multi-line or block level comments. We can comment in single line in a simple way. So whenever you can see this dollar operator in R, it is an analogous. It is nothing but it is representing. It is a synonym that dot operator in other languages. So how we can represent this dot? Where if you wanted to go to any Google Chrome or any website, wherever we use dot, instead of dot in R programming, we will be using this dollar operator. Yes, installing of R in Windows, I have already told you. So if anyone is noting down means, please note it down. So this is the URL. You can directly go to this and just click on the Windows version, open source software, download it. Installation of R. So here you can see after downloading the file, click on the file, click on next, 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 and then click on finish. So this is the RStudio. So here we can see different windows over here. This is called the source window, source panel window, where we can write our code, we can develop our program, we can develop different applications under this script window, right? So next coming to R console, where we can see whether there are any errors in our program, in our development. So what are the errors we can find and what is the execution? So that also we can see in this R console window. Coming to this file, package or panel. So file or package panel, where we can install many packages, many files to be taken into the program. We can take input from this window. Coming to this environment panel. So whenever we assign some values to variables, here it will be stored over here. So that values with variables will be shown over here. So this value is memory allocated with this variable. In that way, it will be illustrating us. So IDE for R. So what is the environment for this R programming language is RStudio. The RStudio project currently provides most of the desired features for an IDE, integrated development environment, in a novel way, making it easier and most productive to use this R language. The RStudio program can be run on the desktop or through a web browser also. Directly we can run the data with web browser also. The desktop version is available for Windows, Mac OS operating system and Linux platform. In all these platforms, these versions can be seen. These versions can be utilized. So some of the notable IDs for R. So in which Windows or in which platform, what are the different environments we can have to work with R programming? So those are nothing but ESS. So this is one of the environment where we can find in Windows, Mac and Linux. In all these platforms, we can use not only ESS, Eclipse, SciViews, JGR. So these are different IDs where we can use in all the platforms like Windows, Mac OS operating system and Linux. Coming to only Windows, we can use this time, Notepad Plus and RGUI. These three we can use in Windows only. Windows of operating system 8, 7, 7, 8, 10. In all these operating systems we can use. So this is all about the IDs, that is environments where we'll be working with RStudio, R programming. So operators. So before entering into this operators, let me tell you, let us move on to this RStudio. Everyone can see the screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Yes, fine. So first, before entering into this operators, first let me describe clearly about how to work with data. So here we can give in Python we used to assign directly value like this. Some value directly we can assign to variable, that is in Python. In R programming we can assign in three ways. One is by using right header arrow. Second one is left header arrow. And third one is by using this is equals to symbol. So we can assign any variable in three ways. We can use this in 3 ways. We can assign any value to a variable in 3 ways by using right header arrow, left header arrow, and equal to operator. So for suppose this is my data. So this is my data I have given. Now I'll give the print statements. So I request please mute yourself, everyone.
Madam, in the above line now, work 1 is not there.
Sorry.
Work 2 and work 1, 2 and work 3.
Yes. So yes, 1 is not there, right? Thanks. Thank you. So you can see if we wanted to execute, first we have written the program, right? So select the program till where we have written. Just go to run over here. So as we are, so just a second. We'll check with this equals to operator. Now we'll check. Yes, we got the output over here. Just we have given the print statements over here, so that the data will be assigned to that variable and it will be executed. Now before entering into this operators, let me tell you the data types. So one has to know how to use the data types in any programming language. So we'll be working with variables, right? So these variables are nothing but reserved memory locations to store any value, whether it may be integer, floating point values. So these variables are important to store any data, right? So this means that when you can create a variable, so that values will be reserved some space in that memory, so that the variable will have certain memory location. So coming to data types in this R programming, yes, is anyone having doubts?
Yes. Right arrow head. You are
Yes.
not using here var3. It is 3 right arrow head var3. If you use, it can work. First write the 3, then right arrow, then var3.
So in that case, it's coming the output.
Equal to okay, madam. I am asking right arrow.
You're asking about right arrow.
It's not like that. 3
Right arrow head first value and then variable. Value right arrow head variable. If you give like that, it will work.
3 right arrow.
Right arrow head. Right, madam.
Is it working in this case?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yes, thank you. So we are moving on to this data types. So in this data types, we will be having different types like vectors, matrix, arrays, list, and data frame. So what do you mean by this vector? Can anyone answer? Okay, fine, let me tell. So a vector is nothing but certain set of sequence of data elements. So some basic type of data we will be having, some set of sequence of data elements we will have, that is called vector. So where we will be having 5 automatic vectors, so which are nothing but logical, integers, numeric data, complex, characters. So logical data are represented with true or false as the data. Integers are represented with some numerical values along with the character L. So in that way only it can be treated as an integer value. So numeric data can be treated with both the integer and as well as in floating point values. Complex data, you know, complex data will be A plus IJ format, right? So A plus IB format. So in the same way, the complex data will be considered. So characters, you already know all the alphabet set of characters, we can take it. So that is nothing but the characters. So we will do one. So here we have done the data with the vectors. How to take the data in vectors? So let me give you a small example. I am taking some vector 1 as, so simultaneously you also can please do this. So vector 2 I'm considering now. Now here I'm going to take values over here. So this is what the data I have given. So please mute yourself, everyone. Now select the program and click on this run. So 1 minute, we have to give here the print statements actually. Now select the data. Select the program and click on run. Yes. Vector 2 not found.
And I have one doubt. What is the
Yes.
use of class in this particular print statement?
So we will be taking the data by using this class data only. So we have to take these variables vectors by using this class only. Then only it will be considered.
Without class, will it not be printed? Brackets. So first one, two closing brackets are there.
Yes. So yes, we will check with this also as per your doubt. So object we are to not found. So we have to take the data in class form only to take these objects. Okay.
Okay.
You know what is meant by class here, which you are going to print, and when you say vector, why this C and then something is to be written?
Yes, so we have to take the whatever the data we are representing, we are giving to these variables, that has to be given with this C only. That is nothing but class data only. Why? Because we have to, this is the basic how to assign some values to this data, means in this way only we can do. Okay now. So this is like syntax.
Ma'am, in second line, there is a caps, ma'am, PTR. V is in caps, ma'am.
PTR?
V is in caps, ma'am. That's why it's showing like V2R is not found.
Madam, without class also it will work, madam.
So
need
without this
to have
class also you are able to assign the data?
Yes, because C is concatenation of vectors. Just if you give print also it will work, I think so.
So we'll check with that. Just a second.
print VTR.
Yes, 1 minute. Yes. Yes, it is
Likewise,
able to print without giving class also. We are able to print the data. So this is how we'll be taking the data of vectors. Both the logical as well as numerical data we have considered here. So remember one thing here, whatever the data we have given within the data, if it is exceeding the maximum value which is present in our data, then it will be, result will be seen in exponentiation format. So I'll be giving you one more data now. So with the decimal values, how it will be considered. So vector 3 I'm giving as caps L we have to give. Something like floating point values I'm giving over here. So this is what my data I have given. Now let us check with this data how it's being going to execute. So we got the print of vector 3, vector 4 data where we have given the both the integer values as well as the floating point values, right? So this is how the data can be taken. So here L represents, it will be converted the data into integer format. So that's why we got here int value. Floating point value converted to int value. Whatever the data we have given here, that it will be converted into int value. Okay now. So what happens if you try to store different type of data type in a vector means all the different types of vectors if you are storing in, for suppose I'm giving the data like vector 5. So this is my vector where I'm going to give the data over here like different types of data. So this is what my data is. Now if I wanted to print this vector 5, select the data and run. So you can see we can take all the data. So it has been converted all the data into floating point values. So if we create and execute this, it will be created and the values true to be 1. So that will be converting all the data to be decimal point values. We'll check with one more data in matrix now. So till now we have done the vector data. Now we will be moving on to this matrix. What are this matrix? So matrix are nothing but are objects in which the elements are arranged in a 2D rectangular layout. So the syntax will be in this format. So matrix of the data So matrix of whatever the data I'm going to give here now. First data will be given, next rows, columns, by columns data, how many rows and columns and dimensions it is going to give now. So in this format we will be taking the data. So let us see one example with this matrix, how to work with this matrix data. So I'm taking the matrix over here. Now here I'll be giving number of rows and columns that it should be consisting of, with total number of rows and columns I'm giving over here. Now this is my data, right? Now I have to print this matrix. Now select the data, click on run. So this is how the matrix will be created. With 5 rows, 5 columns data, we are able to create the data. Whatever the data that is present, you can see over here in the matrix. So from 5 to, so that data only it will be creating within this. So 5432, 5432 in the same way we'll be getting. So from 5 to 2, we'll be getting this type of data. So arrays. So what do you mean by this arrays? It is nothing but a 2D dimensional rectangular layer which is used for actual matrix, so that whatever you are using in mathematics, so you can store different values in orderly manner, right? So for that purpose we will be moving on to this. We will check with this array format also. So I'm writing an array now. So this is my data where I'm going to So this is my data where I'm going to take the array of data of elements, where I hope everyone is doing simultaneously. Next, I'm giving the dimensions over here. So this is what the dimension I have given. Now I have to print this array. Now select the data, program, click on run. So it will be executed. So 1 to 9 elements will be seen in the column wise. We can execute the data. This is the dimension of the data. So 3 elements it is going to give us. So this is how the data will be plotted. So this is how the data will be plotted. You can see the matrix. So I think you are understanding this, right? So we are moving on to this list. List is nothing but, so which will be containing the elements of different types like numbers, strings, vectors, and any list which will be, syntax will be only like list of that data. Whatever the data we would like to give, that we will be taking in this format only. We'll check with an example. We will check with one example. So this is my data where I am going to take this ratio of elements, right? Next, one more vector I have been taken. Where I'll be taking some set of characters over here. So this is my data. So one more data I'll be given here. vector 1, vector 2, and next vector 3 I'm giving over here. So where the list will be to give vector 1, vector 2, vector 3. So it has to print this. So sorry, this is actually here we have to give the data of vector 3 where we will be given the another type of data. Suppose so this is my one more vector. Now I have to print these vectors, all the vectors. Now give this print statement. So now give this print statements where we have to write list of data vector 1, vector 2, vector 3 has to be displayed, right? So now I have given. Now we will check with this data, with this example. Let us see what will be the answer. Yes, we got the output over here. Welcome to R. Hi, welcome to R. And the first, what we have given the data 1:5. We got all the elements. Next we got hi, welcome to R. This is my one more data. Next we got the true and false data, right? So here vector 3, it's giving 35,50. Just wait,
C,
we'll
you can give concatenation, madam. Vector 3. C.
these three. Yes, okay.
C of vector. C of. No. There.
In vector 3, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yes, fine. We'll check with this, right? Now run. Yes, we got. So next we'll move on to one more example where I will be taking the vectors and total data, list data. So I have already shown you the same thing. You can do it with your own variables and values, whatever you have taken. Now let us move on to data frames. What do you mean by data frames? So it is nothing but a table or a 2D array. So array-like structures that can actually store your data in ordered manner. So it is a table or 2D array-like structure in which each column contains values of one variable and each row contains a set of values from each column. So the syntax will be like, so whatever the data frame will be taking data frame along with the input data what we are going to give over here. So this is what the actual syntax is. Let us move on to one example to work with this. So vector 1 I'm giving over here certain 1:5 as my data. Vector 2 where I'll be taking the data like strings. Now we will print this data frame. Data dot frame. Now the data should be give over here. So here vector 1 and vector 2 should be framed over here before this. Yes. So here we will give the data dot frame where the vectors should be taken. Vector 1, vector 2. This is my data. Now I have given the print statement where it has to take the data frame data to be present. So let us check with this. Now select the whole program. So rows and columns, I think we'll directly give this data frame and check.
First VTR1 concatenation symbol, madam. C.
So data frame I have given here. Just a second, we'll work with this.
So VTR1 you have 5 values. VTR2 you have only 2 values.
2 values. 3.
Yes,
I have
yes.
3. So this is my data. Let us check with this. Yes, we got it. So vector 1, vector 2 data we got over, print over here, executed. So we have to give the same length over here. Then we can access the data and get the output. I hope you are understanding the session. Yes, now coming to these operators. So why we have using these double quotes? We can use any quotation marks that does not change the value. Okay, single quotes, double quotes means same. Yes, coming to this operators. So in operators, we can use different types like arithmetic, relational, assignment, logical operators. So these are different types of operators. In our programming, it can be done. So we'll work with these operators, each example. Before that, some basic introduction about these operators. So operators in R can be used to carry different mathematical and also logical operations. Operators in R can be classified into the following categories. Those are arithmetic, relational, logical operators, and assignment operators. So you might be already having the basic idea about these operators because we are working on coding languages. So basics from the C language, we are having all these operators. Arithmetic operations, you already know that we are having arithmetic operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So these are commonly used since we are kids. So that time also we were using these operators in real time in our maths, right? So what is R programming special means? It is also supporting some extra arithmetic operators like exponent, modulus, and integer division, which you can see over here. So we will work with this data now in RStudio. So print So this is my data. Select the data, run it. So we got the output. In the same way, we will give some more print statements. So checking all the different arithmetic operators. Now one more print statement. Multiplication. Next, print. Okay. This is my data I have given. Now select the print statements. It will directly give us the results by calculating the operations. By using these operations, it can directly give us the data. So this is all about arithmetic operators, and in R we are getting some more additional operators, that is arithmetic operators like exponents, modulus, and integer division. So that also we will check once. So to make you clearly understand. So this is one more my data. One more data is I'm giving here modulus data. Next. Sorry for the interruption. So this is what my print statements are. Let us check with these print statements. So unexpected input, just a second. Yes, we can do here percentile 2. Let us check with this. Okay, ma, we'll check with this modulus operator afterwards. So remaining all, we got the outputs over here, right? So next is relational operators. So which are used to compare different values. What is the relation between each and every value? So what are different relational operators we can have? Less than, greater than, less than or equals to, greater than or equals to. So not equals to, these are different types, right? So these are different types of relational operators that we will check now how to work with this data. Go to RStudio and work with the different relational operators. So first we will assign the values to variables, like variable 1 is equals to 5 and variable 2 I'm giving as some 50. These are the variables I'm giving. Now print of var1 greater than var2. Next it will print. So we are checking the condition with, so greater than, less than, equal to, right? So we will check with print of, so whether it is equals to var1 equals to var2. Now we will give one more print statement as so here I am giving var1 is not equals to var2. This is my data. Print statements I have given. Select the whole data. Now run. So here you can see the comparison. So it will give the result in by relating those. By comparison, it will give whether the condition is true or false. So this is how the relational operator works. So we will do one more example for logical operators. In logical operators, what we can assign and, is, or, that values, right? So here we will give something like data like so we have to assign only capital letters to this true false data. So true false, true false. This is my data I'm going to. So this is my data of variable 1. Now variable 2 I'm giving over here like false, true, true, false. So first we will give false, true, so this is my data. Now I have to check the conditions of logical operators like AND operator, OR operator, and one more is NOT operator. So we will check this NOT operator in this way. So now select the data, run the code. Here you can see the print values. So it will take the data, it will print what are the, whether it is true or false, it is going to give us. So this is how the data will be accessed in logical operators. I hope you are understanding. Relational operators is over. So next is logical. We are able to implement logical NOT, element-wise logical and element-wise logical and logical OR and logical OR. So element-wise means it can access element-wise and total variable-wise also it can be accessed the data. So this is how we can use. So next coming to assignment operators. What are these assignment operators? So here the data will be like, so we can give the both in two types. So left assignment, right assignments. So how we can assign the data is, so here you can see assignment operators are used to assign the values to variables. It is common. Every value we will be assigning to some variable to allocate some memory location. So variables are assigned using this left assignment, right assignment data symbols, right? So equals to, it is common, it is it can easily access the data. So left assignment, right assignment, you can see over here how the data can be accessed. So this is about logical operators and assignment operators. Now next we will move on to this if else statements. So basically the syntax of if statement. What is if statement actually? So whenever the given condition is true, it will execute the code. If not, if that condition is not true, it won't execute anything, right? So that is a basic if statement. So we will see that once with example. So for suppose I am giving some value over here. So here instead of var1, I am giving some 25 as my data. Next, instead of this true false data, I am giving some value like 50. So these are my data. Now it will check the if condition and it will give the print statements. Now if, sorry, it is in caps. So if the condition, now I'm going to take here as var1 is adding with var2 and if it is greater than 75, then it should print. So what it will be printing here? So it is greater value, like that. Value is greater. So this is what the if statement I have given. Now I'll check with this condition. If it is true, it will print, else it won't print anything, right? So that is the basic syntax. So just a second. var1, var2 I have given. So it will add and it will give the print statement whether it is value is true or not. So by adding these two, we'll get 75, right? So we'll check with one more condition. If it is less than 25, so value is, it will check the condition. If it is true, it will print this. So it will print like lesser. Now select the data, run the program. Here you can see value is lesser. As per the condition, if it is true only, it will be executing.
Madam,
So
that if statement you have given through double bracket, that's why we
it
are
is
not
printing
getting.
this value is lesser.
No, it is not printing. No, program is again it is printing. It is repeating the program. We are not getting output.
So without using this quotation marks, you are asking me to.
No. That if statement you have given two brackets. If it is set values, we can give. Otherwise, a single bracket is enough.
Sorry. So just a second. Here is the small issue. So small mistake here.
That opening also, you have given two brackets.
Yes. So here I have closed, no ma'am.
No, open. No, you reduce one bracket. Open. If after if.
So now we'll check.
Now also we are not getting output.
So here I have given the brackets to this var1 plus var2. For that's why I have given 2 brackets. So we are checking the addition and taking the result. So if it is, if we are giving the statements over here, for suppose the condition is greater than 75. So it will print a value is lesser. So if this condition is true, then only it is going to print now. So we'll check with another condition like this. So less than 25, it is actually false, right? So we will check with this condition now. So yes, this is being printing again. Just 1 minute. We will rectify this. So, so yes, we are getting now the value is lesser. So as per the values and condition, whatever we have given, we are able to get the answer now. So this is how this if statement works. So if this condition is true, it will print. If this condition is false, it will check another condition, right? So that is, it will check for another condition like else if statement, right? So else if it will check another condition now, like so it will print value is greater. Now select the data, run the code. So 1 minute. So just a second. We are working on this error. So this else if is, we are checking for multiple conditions, then we will be checking with this else if statements. So okay, we will check it afterwards. So because we are lagging with time. else, okay, we'll check with this once again. So it will be just checking the else, it will just print value is greater. We'll check with this now. Now we'll check with this. So we will remove this. Yes, we are getting that value is greater. So it will check the condition. As per the condition, it will be executing. Okay. So now we'll move on to this next slide. So we have completed this if else statements. So nested if else statement, it is used for multiple conditions. So only one statement will be executed depending upon the test expressions. So whatever the expression, if the condition expression 1 is true, it will execute the statement 1. Else if it will check another condition and it will execute the next statement. In the same way, it will be used for multiple conditions. If all the statements are not true, then it will be giving the print statement directly, default statement. So next you can see here if else, that is a function. You can see here it is nothing but a vector equivalent form of if else. So here we should give the expression and yes or no we will be getting the data. So expression should be a logical expression which may be a vector. So we will get whether it is yes or no. So what to return if expression is true, that is yes. So if it is false, it will be written as no. Here is one of the example. Next we'll move on to next slide. So this for loop and while loop, just today I'll be just giving you the brief introduction. So you might have already know this. For loop is used for whenever a certain condition is given until the condition is true. So until that it will be executing, right? So before entering into this for loop, let me show an example in switch statements, how to take the switch statements. So here we are, so how to use this switch statements means, so expression will be going to take, so once if you know that, so whenever the value will be given, so I'll show you here how to give the switch statements. So now I'm giving the data like, so this is what my data actually is. Now I should print this one. So it has to print it will check the condition and it will print wherever it is for, it will print that statement only. So for suppose here I'm giving the data as Monday. Next I'm giving here data as 4. Here if it is 4 means it has to print Thursday. Right. So for suppose this is my data. Now select this switch data, run. So now we'll check. Yes, we are able to print the data. So it will check the condition wherever it is for, it will be printing this statement. So this is how the data can be taken. So coming to for loop and while loop, we will just do a simple example for this while loop and for loop. So in these loops, we'll be having in for, loops like repeat loop, while loop, for loop. So the main objective, first of all, what is a loop? So it is a statement that will allow us to execute a statement or group of statement multiple times. So why we have to execute this means, so the main objective is to help you to execute a group of statements for multiple number of times. So rather than rewriting them, if we can execute the data for multiple times, so what it can reduce the code redundancy, right? So complexity will be reduced, and also performance of the program will be very better. So that is a basic looping, why we are going on to these loops. So you might have already aware of this for loop, while loop, and repeat loop. So repeat loop is new to this R programming. It is been supporting as new. So this is a statement which is a given condition. If it is true, then only it will test the condition after executing the loop body. So how the syntax will be? So I'll show you. We'll see an example now. So how it will be? First, repeat statement. So here I'm giving the data in this way. Now the commands I have to give. Next, it should be followed by if condition. Whatever the condition we wanted to give, here we will be giving. Yes, now in this format, if condition will be given. And it will break the statement. So this is how the statements can be taken here. So this is the basic format, how we will be taking the repeat loop. Why we are using for multiple conditions to execute the whole data, right? So these statements help you to execute number of times until the condition, whatever we have given. So until that is true, it will be repeating the data, and it will be turning false if the condition is always checked after the statement is executed. So we will check with one example now. Yes, we'll check with one example now. So now I'll be giving the data like for while loop. Okay. So what is the functionality of this while loop? So it will be repeating the statement until the given condition, whatever the given condition is true, till that time it will be iterating within that loop. So for suppose I am giving here variable 1 as 5. Now it will enter into this while loop, and it will check the condition. So some data I am giving here, some comparison. It will print the data like variable 1. Next, it will take the data. It will be improvising this var1, incrementing with 1. For suppose I'm giving here is 2, right? So we will now check with this. First, we have to keep here this flower braces while starting. This print statement is given whenever we give this print statement. Now we will check with this data. So it's been iterating until the given condition is true. It will be iterating, right? So this is how the basic example is. So while loop is until the given condition is true, it will be executing the data, right? Now let us move on to strings. So what are these strings? Any values which will be written in a pair of single quotes or double quotes, it is treated to be as string. What do you mean by string in general? So it's nothing but set of characters, right? So these are nothing but the set of characters that will have any values. So write between single quotes, or which we write between single quotes and double quotes. So those are treated to be a string. For suppose I am giving here string 1 as welcome to R. This is my string. Next, I am giving here print statement to print this string 1. Now select the data and run this. it will be executed. So this is how we can execute the data in strings. So we can even concatenate these two. First we have taken this, right? So one more statement I will take as string 2 as, I'm taking here string 2 as this is my one more string which will be printing this string 2. Next, print string 1 plus string 2. So this is my data. Let us check with this example. Run this. So we are getting string 1, welcome to R. Whereas string 2, print string 2. Just a second. Select this. Now run. So it's been executing only first statement. So we'll do one more stitch. So we'll assign some string in a simple format. So I'm taking here one string. So where my string is, so to convert to upper or lower cases, we'll do first. So to uppercase. So we'll give this function in this format and give the string. Whatever the string we are assigning, we can give over here. So for suppose I am assigning the string here like string 1 is equals to welcome to R programming program. It's enough. So now I have given this string to be converted to uppercase letters. One more string I am giving as string 2, where I have to get to lower. We are already having the lower case, so we will see the print statements. Now we will give here string to be printed. We will check with this whether we will get or not. Select it, run the. So we got here welcome to our string 1 will be executed. This is how the string will be taken and accessed in our data. So in today's session we have discussed all about the basic concepts. So what is R programming and the history of R, comparison of different programming languages, merits and demerits, and some practical examples we have accomplished today, right, with some basic features. And in different application where it can be used in different applications like artificial intelligence, data mining, data science technologies. So in all this area, what is this R programming has been having a great importance. So this is what we have learned today, and tomorrow we are going to take the second session where we will be having in detail about the practical sessions. So yes, we will share you the presentation. I hope you have understood the session. If you're having any doubts, please do let me know in the chat box so that I could answer you. So I think everything is clear, right? So we'll wait for 2 minutes for any doubts. So if you're having any types of doubts, you can please put a message in chat box so that we could answer you easily.
Ma'am,
Yes, please tell me.
why we are using C in a program for assigning variables?
Yes, so it will be considered that values to be assigned to that variable. For that purpose, we will be the basic format is that, like syntax. Okay, now.
What's the meaning, ma'am? C means?
Like abbreviation you're asking. So class of data, that's it. Okay. So we are taking the data in a elements format. The class of elements will be considered like that. Okay. Am I
Okay.
clear? So any more doubts yet? Anyone can ask me. Any doubts yet? So everything is clear, right? So yes, ma, we will wind up the session for now. Thank you so much for having a great session, very great interaction session. So have a very nice time. So we'll continue the session tomorrow again, and with some basic examples, practical sessions. And for any further information about this workshop or any about further workshops which we are going to conduct, you can please call back to these numbers. And if you're having any ideas regarding any project issues, any research work, any development work, you can please call back to Pantech Solutions. So this Pantech e-learning will be always supporting the students who will be having different ideas to be presented in different domains in all the technologies, new technologies especially. We are working on different technologies for practical projects. So have a very nice time, everyone. We will wind up the session for now. Thank you all.
Ma'am, 1 second, ma'am. I have a doubt.
Yes, please, sir.
Ma'am, will
Please.
this PPT is provided for all of us after this workshop, or?
Yes, we will share you. Today
Okay.
after the session, we will share you. Don't worry about that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, fine. Have a very nice time, everyone. Thank you all. You can leave now. Thank you.
Thank you.